Hey there, everyone. At the end of January 2016, I made the choice that I wanted to start a YouTube channel. I'd always wanted to, and I'd always seen a lot of channels and stuff, and everybody always seemed like they were having a lot of fun. Whether they were like the individual guys they were doing a little bit of a shtick, like angry video game nerd, or whether it was guys that were just solo doing reviews, or especially the duos and stuff like that, the duos, trios, groups, and everything. They always seemed like they were having a good time doing it, and so I always kind of wanted to see if I could basically have as much fun doing it as they were, if it was something that would appeal to me. To be honest, though, one of the things that made me hesitate up to that point was just the abundance, or overabundance, I should say, of channels that were already there. There's no shortage of gaming channels. And I'd go to panels and at conventions, and I'd watch Q&A videos with YouTubers, and basically just putting it out there to ask them whatever they wanted. And a lot of the questions on the YouTube front were sort of the same. I'm thinking of starting a channel, or I had just started a channel. What should I do, say, play, review? You know, and the idea of, there were so many people. There's the running gag, like you go to a convention or something like that, and it's like, oh, I'm sure everybody here's got a channel. And there's nothing wrong with it. It's actually a really good thing, which is something that I'm going to get to later. But the fact that there's so much of it's intimidating. It's intimidating to start a channel, because you're going to be at the bottom. You know what I mean? It doesn't feel original. Your production values are going to be right at the beginning. You know what I mean? If you're starting a channel, no one's going into it saying, "Hey, I'm going to start a channel," and they've got a $200 mic and a mixer and an HD camera. Like, you don't go into it initially with all of that stuff. So, for production value, you're going to be at the bottom. For content variety, you're going to be at the bottom. You're going to have a channel with one video, two videos, three videos. Yeah, obviously you build up, but it's just, it's intimidating to have to do that. And then it always feels weird, you're going to make videos and you're not going to have any subscribers, and it's that's not intimidating. It's a little discouraging, I would say. So it's intimidating to start because of all of these things. You're going to lack in both quality and quantity at the beginning. So I started to wonder, why bother? There's so much stuff out there. Why should I even bother making a channel? But then it got me wondering, like, really asking myself, why bother? Why did I want to, why do I want to do this? Why do I want to start a channel? What's my goal? How far am I willing to take it? What am I hoping to get out of all of this? And how much am I willing to put into it in order to get it? I thought about the channels that I really liked, and what it was about them that I liked, and whether or not I could provide that same thing. So I decided to make this video because I wanted to talk about some of the answers that I came up with. And if you're considering starting a channel, or you just made one, or for whatever reason you want to know what drives someone to do it, then maybe my answers might be a little relevant for you. They could help give you that last little push you need to get started, or keep your drive going, or maybe you're thinking about making a push into something bigger. So first and foremost, money should not be your main focus. It flat out, it just shouldn't. Because unless you've got an original idea that no one's ever done before, but people really want, which is incredibly unlikely since it seems like everything's been done, or unless you've got a video that's just gonna hit hard, you've got something there that you're gonna put out that's just 100% amazing. Even if it's a one-off video, because, sometimes all you need is a really big single video to draw on a lot of people. But unless you've got any of that, making a profit is actually very, very difficult. It's, at the very least, it's not lucrative. I'll put it into perspective for you. I've been doing this at the time of this video for about a year and a half, and I haven't made anything. Like, I have not seen money from this. YouTube only pays you after you've earned $100. It's like there's money there. It goes into a little bit of a sort of an account, but you don't get anything transferred to you until you make past $100. So if I stay on the rate that I am right now, I stand to make that 100 sometime in 2018. The reality is making a living through videos alone is a lot of work and a lot of time. Because of that, as far as earning income, my goals are very small. If I make enough to pay for a game or two here and there, or pay for a convention ticket, once in a while, I'd be completely thrilled. Anything beyond that would just feel like a blessing. Ultimately, what I'd like, I want my first $100 whenever that happens. Most likely, I'll just put right back into the channel. If there's a piece of equipment that I want to get or something like that, there's a good possibility it's just going to go right back into the channel. Which, if you are lucky enough to be making money really fast, if you want to keep doing that and grow, that's a good thing to do with your money in the beginning, is set that money aside specifically for that. Now, why you should want to make them? One good reason is just because you want to try it out. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with seeing it and saying, hey, let me just get an idea of what goes into it. And you could look it up. You could do videos and stuff you could watch videos and talk to people. But one of the best ways you learn is by doing. And in all honesty, you just do. You do with what you have. It's intimidating to go on and you see these guys and you hear them talk about the stuff that goes into it, and they've got their cameras and their high-end computers and they've got all these different things, and realistically, all you need is a microphone and your computer's ability to record. All you need is a camera. Most cell phone cameras are good enough to make some kind of content right now. So that's really, really all you need. If you want to take it to the next level, yes, you're going to need more. But if you just want to try it out, if you just want to, throw some editing and stuff to record a few things, edit them and see how you feel about it, you never know. That may be something that you really, really dig. But yeah, if you just want to try it out, just give it a try. As far as earning subscribers and getting views and stuff like that, that should really be secondary. You should really be trying to enjoy what you're doing first. That being said, those things are great. People always say, oh, well, you're not supposed to do it for subscribers. You're not supposed to be trying to earn more attention and gain more attention. You're just trying to get people to click for views and stuff like that. And let's be honest, though, that stuff feels great. It's validating. I can't imagine that there is, large or small, a person out there that creates content that's going to say, oh, well, when I first started, I got 10 views. And a few months later, I was getting 1,000 views. But I didn't feel any different. It didn't feel any better. That's lying. Come on. You make this content and you make it for yourself. In large part, you're supposed to make it because you want to make it. But the reality is, when you see that people are connecting with what you're making, they're leaving positive comments, they're clicking like, they're clicking subscribe, that feels really, really good. So I don't like it when people say, well, you're not supposed to be doing it for that. Well, you're not supposed to be doing it for that, but it doesn't mean that you don't want to see that stuff. When you get older and you get out and you get your own place and you get a decent job, you do that because you're trying to build yourself. You're trying to build your own life. You don't do it for anybody else. But when your parents come over to your house for the first time and they look around and they say, "Hey, we're proud of you for what you've done." You can't tell me that doesn't feel amazing. You're not doing it for that, but the fact of the matter is it feels good. It shouldn't be your focus, but it feels good. But ultimately you should be doing it because you want to make it. Whether or not you just want to try it out or whether or not it's one of these other reasons. A good reason, one of the ones that I liked was the social interaction. I like interacting with people. That comes a lot more from streaming, which I haven't really done a lot yet just because I don't have the right capture card for it. But I like the social interaction. I like starting a conversation in the comment section. I like when somebody responds to me on Twitter because my newest video went up and they saw it and they, something I said in the video resonated with them. For me, I have two sisters, but they're not geeks. We were not into the same thing. To be completely honest, I was, for the most part, as far as my hobbies, an outcast in the family. Which is not saying anything bad about them. That's just the way it is. But, I didn't really have anybody in the house that I could share a lot of this stuff with. My mom tolerated it, but realistically, it wasn't something that she was into. When I got to high school, I had a tight circle of friends, which were really, really good friends. And they were the people that I shared a lot of that stuff with. They were the ones that we would hang out all night and we would play games. And we would play role-playing games, single player games, but there were 3 and 4 of us. And, one person would be playing their file of the game. And then the rest of us, it was what you see a lot now with videos, which is that was a backdrop to, you see a lot of videos where they're playing a game, but they're talking, and in your main focus, the main focus of the video is the conversation. It's, the video game itself is, for the most part, a backdrop. And that's what hanging out with my friends in high school was, that we focused on the game as far as, we were trying to help each other solve the puzzles. And we were, especially with a new game, we were amazed by what was going on. We were sharing in the story together. But a lot of the time, someone was playing the game and we were just talking. We were just hanging out. And it was just, that was something that was going, if you've ever turned the TV on just for noise in your room, that was pretty much what was happening. And it was great. It was awesome. And then when high school ended, I, unfortunately, for the most part, I went back to doing all of this stuff by myself. I'd go to work and I had work friends, and I would come home, and again, there wasn't really anybody who I could really, really share this stuff with. My wife was there, but before we got together, video games weren't really her thing. So it wasn't the same, you know what I mean? It's not, there's a difference between playing a game with somebody there who's okay with it and going somewhere or playing with people who are very actively involved in it. So when I started the channel, that's what it felt like. It felt like it felt like those long nights where you were just up all night playing a game. It felt like those nights where you're playing a game and you're just shooting it with other people. You're just having a conversation, And, again, streaming is more of that feeling, but I kind of feel that way even with me playing a game by myself and the mic is on. I like that. And that to me was one of it wasn't the reason I wanted to do videos, but it felt like a great bonus. And it was, I can tell you right now, it's nice that it's there. And I do that. And I know that as I have more time, I'll make more videos and just sort of talk about things. I like that. It's very reminiscent of the old school times that I used to play. If you want to learn about making videos, then I touched on this earlier, then making videos is a good thing. Maybe you are into video editing, sound engineering, things like that. Try making some videos. If that's what your focus is and that's why you want to make some videos, give it a shot. That's actually, I think it's a pretty cool reason. I think that if you're willing to grow, the funny thing is, I think that that's a great way to gauge your growth, not by subscribers or views, but by, this is you effectively making a diary of your creation skills. If that's your focus, maybe you're going to school for it or something, or you just have an interest in it, and it's a really strong interest where you're doing research and trying to, and very actively trying to raise your skill level when it comes to some of these skills. You could make videos once or twice a week for a year, and because you're so focused on raising your skill, you'll probably see a dramatic increase from the first video you made to the most recent video you make. And you've got an entire timeline online of that. And that's good. And then that's also a way, you, again, with the social interaction, if that's your focus, make it known that that's your focus. And people can tell you, you can interact with people who have similar interests, who can say, hey, this video was really cool. Maybe the sound mixing needs to be changed a little bit. Maybe the image quality needs to be adjusted a little bit. You can get direct feedback as opposed to just practicing by yourself and you're not really sure if you're learning anything properly. If you're increasing and improving, or if you're just sort of doing the same thing and it's you're in your own mind like, oh, it's getting better or it's getting worse. You're putting this out there, so maybe people can help you with that. One of the benefits that I found is you want to do whatever it is your video is about. I'm talking a lot about gaming, and that's just because that's my focus. But there are other things. I have one or two cosplay videos. I do the inspirational stuff, which I love the inspirational stuff, which is another point I'll get to later. But a reason to make videos is because you want to do these things. When you get older, you don't have a lot of time. You have less and less time to do these things that you really like to do. Making videos about doing them is a great way to dedicate time to those things. It's easy to say, oh, I want to go home and play this game. And then you go home and you start watching TV and you just kind of relax. And by the time you look at the clock, it's 9-10 o'clock. It's time to go to bed because you've got work tomorrow. If you try and keep to a video schedule, that's a good way to say, hey, I have to play this game for 2 hours, which sounds kind of bad. It sounds, when you say you have to do something, that always sounds bad. But for me, so I've come home and I've said, okay, I have to record a few sessions of this game. And then at the end, I feel great. The reality is I just played a video game for an hour and a half, which is an hour and a half of video game time that I would not have played if I wasn't dedicated to making a video for it. So I kind of like that. It's sort of a weird reason, but it definitely worked. If you're a cosplayer and you're having trouble setting time aside to build costumes, which is another problem I have. If you decide I'm going to start a cosplay channel, when it's time to work on a costume and it's time to make a video, you're going to be more determined to do that, because you're not only are you making a costume that you want to make, you're making a video that you really want to make. So it helps you sort of focus on whatever it is you want to do. If you want to, and it goes back to the skills one, I know makeup channels are huge. Like channels for putting on makeup, which I totally understand. I actually really understand the makeup channel thing. But, that's a great way. Making those videos and doing research for those videos is a great way to learn more skills in that skill set. Rather than just saying, oh, I'm going to learn a couple of things and that's it. If you've got a channel and you want to dedicate time to it, you have to learn more skills to keep going. So it helps drive you to do that. See, that's actually a very good reason to get into making videos. One reason that when I started that I really, really wanted to do, and I have done several, and I normally don't do it, but I do invite you to check those out. I have a playlist that's me talking about stuff. That's literally what the playlist is called. But check out some of those videos. I have a bunch of discussion videos, inspirational videos, things like that. If you've got something positive that you want to say, if you feel like you have a personal experience that would help somebody out, if you feel like you've got a message to put out there that will benefit people, that is a terrific motivation for making videos. One of my favorite videos was actually one of my first videos, and I talk about how there's the question of what would you say to your younger self, and I thought about it, and I know what I'd want to say to my younger self, but it's more helpful and it makes sense for me to say that to the younger versions of me that exist right now. And making videos is a great way to do that. You can go somewhere and you may meet somebody who's in the same life position as you or as you were, and be able to get your message to them. But a lot of time people don't like talking about whatever's going on in their life, especially not with a stranger. So if you do have something positive to offer, it may get lost because no one's able to hear it. But if you're really determined to get that out there, making videos is a great way to do it. If you make an inspirational video, if you make a video putting out a positive message out there, and 10 people watch it, you get 10 views. For the lifetime of that video, you get 10 views. There's a good possibility that those 10 views helped 10 people through a difficult time. That's good. Please acknowledge that is good. Don't think about, wow, so few people watch this video. If you help one, I know it's a cliche, but if you help one person with a positive thing that you say, that's good. That helps. That helps one person. Yes, 7 billion people didn't hear the message, but maybe they didn't need to hear the message. That one person who did hear it needed to hear it. And that's a good thing. So that's a great reason to make videos, is because you want to do something positive for people. You know, whether it is an inspirational video or whether you're just trying to be helpful with what you're doing. You know, again, I go back to those makeup channels. I don't relate to that, but I can imagine it. There are a lot of people, especially younger girls, you know, younger girls who don't have big sisters, don't hang out with a lot of their friends, don't sit around and do makeup, but they really want to learn. You know, there's no makeup school for a 12-year-old, 14-year-old, let's say 14, 15-year-old. You know, they're still in high school. They can't go to beauty academy. So these videos are a great way. That's why I understand that they're so popular. They're a great way for them to learn this thing that they can take out into the world. And, you know, at the very least, it's going to make them feel good about themselves, or it's going to help them feel good about themselves. At the most, it could lead them into a career. It could lead them into something that they want to carry and build on for the rest of their lives. You know, those are positive things that are coming from somebody who decided to turn their camera on and look in and put some eyeshadow on. You know, you can laugh and joke about those channels all you want, but they're helping people. You know, a lot of channels out there do that. And if you want to make a channel, that's a good reason to do that. So, in the end, it boils down to, do you want to make a channel? You know, should you make a channel? To me, yes, absolutely. Yes, there are plenty of channels out there. I don't think there's one out there. I don't think that there's anything out there that there isn't a channel for. You know, whether it's specifically focused on that thing, or whether it covers that thing in one of its multiple topics. But do it, because at the very least, it'll probably help you. You know, you may not even be exactly sure what you want to get out of it. So try doing it. You know, somewhere along the way, you could decide. You know, you may start doing it because you want to hang out and get the social interaction. You know, or because you've got a positive message. And in doing it, you may realize, wow, you know what? The positive message is fine. The social interaction is fine. But I'm really enjoying the editing part. You know, I'm really enjoying the sound mixing part. You know, and then that alone could either drive you to keep making more, or maybe you'll stop making videos because you want to start focusing more on just sound editing. You know, in which case you could talk to other people and say, hey, you're making videos. You've got large amounts of content. I started making videos. I started learning sound editing. I decided I wanted to take a class in it. Maybe we can work together, you know, and that's a positive thing to come out of it, even though that wasn't your focus in the beginning, you know. So just give it a try. You can just stop if you don't like it. That's the thing that always gets me, is people, you know, they say, and they do it all the time with anything. You know, oh, should I try and learn how to do this or that? Should I make videos? Should I try and go, you know, go for a hike? Like, should I learn hiking, like camping and stuff like that? Like, try as much as you can, because you can just stop doing it if you don't like it. There's no reason to. It's not, you know, don't decide that you want to try and make videos and then go out and spend $1,000 for equipment. Because you don't need all of that to do videos. So don't do that. If you decide that you like it, then yes, put more money into it. But as far as just trying it out, you can just try it out. If you don't like it, you just stop. So absolutely, if you're on the brink of do I want to start a channel? Do I want to make videos? Do I want to make content? Do I want to stream games and talk to people? My recommendation is pretty much always going to be to do it. You know, one of the best benefits of it is if you can separate yourself from the idea that I'm not getting subscribers and views and that makes you sad. If you can separate yourself from that, in the end, you're just going to feel good about doing it. You know, it's a very positive thing. I see one of the things that I hear a lot when I hear people, when I watch videos and listen to them, is a lot of people identify with things like social anxiety, you know, social awkwardness, where they don't really like talking to people. You know, it's a common thing for us that we go to parties and we don't really talk to anybody. You know, so I hear these videos and I watch these videos, and these people, they seem very open about whatever it is that's going on in their lives, because they want to talk about what's going on in their lives. And then when I go to conventions, and that's a big one, when I go to conventions, I see some of these people in person, and I see it from myself. I see a lot of random positive interaction that making videos helped to start. And that's such a great thing. You know, that's probably one of the best things that can come out of it. So yeah, if you're on the brink, if you're not really sure, or if you already started and you don't know if you want to keep going for one reason or another, if you're sure you don't want to keep going, just you could make the decision whether or not you want to stop. If you haven't started yet, I would absolutely say to give it a try. Again, it doesn't take much to start, and you can just stop if you don't like it. But that's going to be it for today. I want to thank you guys for listening to that. I hope it helps. I hope that something you heard here again helps you decide whether or not you want to make a push into trying to make videos, or maybe you already make them and you're trying to decide whether or not you want to keep making them, or if you want to start making them on a higher level. You know, so hopefully you heard something in here that's going to help you out. And you know, I don't say it very often, but if you think you heard something that might help somebody else, if you know somebody else that's in this position, or if you're here's a pretty likely one, you want to make videos and you're trying to get your friends to get in on it too. You know, you want to turn it into a thing with the group of you meet up every week and you record stuff, and they're not really sure if they want to do it. You know, share this video with them. Maybe they'll get something out of what I had to say here. You know, I don't normally, I'm not that guy like, oh, please share and subscribe and everything. I don't know. It just feels weird to me to do that. But sometimes, especially with the videos like this, where I just sort of talk and I want to talk about a subject, I usually say that just, you know, if you heard something that you think was going to help somebody, just pass this video along. But more importantly, I hope it helped you. And that's going to be it. Again, thank you all for listening, and have a great day.